Before we start, it's sponsor time. GamerPay, a site where you can buy and sell CSGO skins. A site part owned by the co-founders of Twitch and Astralis alongside some notable pro partners. GamerPay has been a go-to site for selling skins in the community due to their 0% fees for selling and withdrawing. A host of features such as a 3D viewer, Steam and Buff price comparisons, filters for stickers, and a shareable shop so it's easier for others to find your items. Know your customer security is necessary to keep you secure, and verification is usually done within a day. After searching for a skin, you can buy with a card or wallet funds with varying fees, and GamerPay will autofill the trade for you. GamerPay is a very secure site with some very notable names attached to them, and they are operating within Denmark. If you are interested, I have a link in the description that also helps me out. I guess it's about time I do this. I've done something like this before as a beginner's guide. Some of the material has become outdated, and as a beginner's video, it really doesn't tackle some of the topics that are very influential to anyone looking to deposit a large amount of money into this space. Considering the current economic situation, which I covered in my last video, and summer hype not hitting, therefore prices have slightly dipped, it's a good time for people to get into the markets and a good time for others to accumulate. This is going to be a long one, but hopefully I won't ever have to make another. If you've been around the space or if you've seen my previous videos, this part you can skip, but it's necessary to go over the basics. Counter-Strike investing is almost entirely supply-based. Items included in the in-game store do not get removed, therefore supply is infinite. If you were to try buying up all of the capsules, name tags, etc. on the markets and raise prices, people would just buy them from the store and prices would almost instantly go back to normal. Outside of taking advantage of currency exchanges and minor price differences between markets, there is no way to make money on these. Every single investment item you see has a limited supply in some way. Capsules from majors are only available for a limited amount of time. After the major ends, usually between a month or 2 months, the items will be on sale and then they will be removed. Cases can either be entirely discontinued, like esports and operation cases, or moved to the rare drop pool. As far as I know, we don't have confirmation on the specific rate of a rare drop, but it's somewhere around 1%. You can find anywhere from 0.5 to 2% reported, but 1% is generally the agreed on drop rate. As you would expect with a 1% drop rate and the pool of cases you could get as a rare drop, this is when prices start to rise. There are two main types of CSGO skins, those that come from a case and those that come from operations. You can also get skins from in-game drops, but outside of some fringe items, they can generally be ignored. Skins from cases are very stable most of the time, but depending on the demand and the quantity, when the case goes into rare and prices start rising, you can see case skins rise as well. Look at old cases like the original weapon case and the AK-47 case hardened. These cases have become so expensive and the case hardened so desirable that there has been a considerable price increase over the years. Then there's operation skins, which are only available during a period where the operation is running. Operations are essentially a money-making machine for Valve. You buy a pass that allows you to complete missions and get a random item for it. Operations have seen a massive overhaul since Operation Hydra. A CSGO operation in modern terms would just be called a battle pass. You play Apex, Fortnite, COD, etc., you basically know what a CSGO operation is. Ever since Shattered Web, every operation has contained new skin collections, stickers, agents, and sometimes even graffitis. Since these items are unavailable after an operation ends, and when the new operation comes out you get a new set of items, it has made operation investing much safer as a longer-term option. Before Valve made the transition, you would sell your items before the next operation as the items would be available again and prices would drop. This is not a concern in 2022. So that's a basic overview of some of the items you should know, but what about actually buying them? For many people, our wonderful little Steam markets is how they buy and sell items. But that is exactly what you shouldn't do in most situations. Steam is the built-in market for Counter-Strike that Valve created. Because of this, there's no way to cash out. Bottom line, outside of hoping people buy games with Steam balance, with money laundering, gambling, and scams as a substantial part of Counter-Strike's history, but also part of others, Valve does not want to add a cash-out feature to Steam. It is just a legal nightmare. Because Steam balance isn't technically real money, it's worth less. A great little Chinese market known as Buff163 is one you should be focused on. Very cheap prices, good UI, most value listed out of any market including Steam, and very secure. Again, Buff163, not to be confused with Buff Market, which should be treated as an entirely different site. Now, assuming I don't have many Chinese people watching me, there's no way to deposit or withdraw balance without the use of Alipay, which unfortunately I never got working properly. I typically buy Buff balance through trusted people on Twitter, but I understand it can be daunting giving someone you've never seen before a substantial amount of money. This is where other sites come in. And with some recent news about being able to sign up for Buff163, if you're not signed up already, you may not even have the option to use this site. GamerPay and Skimports are two sites I have affiliation with because they're trusted. I have used them. GamerPay having the buff price comparison would be very useful for someone just starting out, so you can confirm you're not overpaying. But I would recommend not just sticking to one site. Sometimes people need to quick sell an item, and if you're not looking for it, you just missed out on easy profit. That is why I use this extension, because it shows me this. And while we're here, as a little tip, buy a skin on a third-party site for more than 15% less than the Steam price, due to the 15% Steam fees. Sell on Steam, take the balance, buy your Antwerp capsules or keys for your cases. This means that if I wanted to purchase Antwerp capsules, instead of 32 cents Canadian for a capsule, I would basically pay 25 cents Canadian per capsule. This is a substantial difference even after Steam fees. And that's a basic overview of some of the markets. Skins from cases usually aren't the first pick for investing, but they are for actually using something in-game. Blue, purple, pink, red, and gold. Those are your odds for unboxing one of these skins, and that's why we see prices scale the way they do. From as low as 10 cents for blues to $500 knives. But there's more to it than that. As you can see, there are some very expensive cases here. Cases after getting moved to the rare drop pool, typically after a year or two based on the unboxing rates, will then have a decreasing quantity due to the estimated 1% drop rate. When cases are in the active drop pool, where they frequently drop, you will see very little price movement. Something like the M4A1 nerf is actually something you could play around with. Because of this, even though a lot of these cases were being unboxed by a large portion of the community, some of these newer skins actually rose and dipped in price. Where money is usually made is from skins that are in cases that have been in the rare drop pool for a while. There are a few examples where we see this coming into play. First, CSGO Weapon Case 1. At this point in time, the most expensive case in Counter-Strike, but I doubt that will change anytime soon. AK-47 Case Hardened. If you have been involved in Counter-Strike in any capacity, you have probably heard of the 661 pattern Case Hardened. It's an infamous skin that many collectors trade around, and when the next major comes, I'm sure you'll see pros borrowing them. Because of how infamous this skin is, it has completely manipulated everything around it. This weapon case used to be eclipsed by the Bravo case when it was the most expensive back when people hunted fire serpents. Not anymore. Blues and purples used to be worth nothing, now they're obnoxiously expensive. It's at the points where you either have to take terrible odds by taking purples from other cases that are worth substantially less, or you have to get a higher tier case hardened pattern to profit off of the trade up. And that right there is one way to make money off of case skins. People have been spamming case hardened trade ups so hard and unboxing so many of these cases at insane prices that everything inside rises as well. While these older cases had a lower total supply due to the player base being smaller when they were actively dropped in game, I can see something like this happening with Broken Fang cases. We have seen a massive resurgence in the case. Broken Fang has nearly doubled in price within 6 months, and although we expect a slowdown pretty soon here, due to the attraction of print streams and the lower supply of an operation case, there will be people hunting. Or we can go to the complete opposite route and look at something like the USP Blueprint Factory New. Since this skin is a blue, that means there is no way to trade up to it as it is already the lowest tier. Unboxing only. This skin was released with Operation Hydra in the Hydra case. Not an extremely low quantity case for its time, but compared to how much money people spend opening cases today, prices eventually shot up. With no way to obtain this skin outside of opening an obnoxiously expensive case, low float factory new blueprints can go for crazy prices despite being blue in rarity. Once again, we have a potential modern example of this with Operation Riptide. With this new operation, we also received a case with another solid USP as a blue. Keep an eye on factory new Black Lotus prices, as despite being a relatively new case that was spammed by people redeeming stars, there is no denying how successful the blueprint was. And it's not just regular weapon skins either, we also need to consider the knives. Typically, knives are not considered an investment item, but that changed in 2019 when China's influence on the Counter-Strike market became apparent. In 2015, I sold my Butterfly Forest DD Pat on OP skins for $50 US. There is such a high demand for these rare items that when you get a rare case that has items specific to that case, the rares also rise in price. Picking desirable knives and gloves that likely won't get reintroduced in a newer case, such as clutch case gloves or spectrum knives, can be a good way to have some nice play skins without feeling like you could have bought something traditionally profitable. Should items from cases generally be ignored if you're purely looking to make money? Yes. Does that mean they should be entirely ignored? I would not say so. There's always going to be a gem out there, and if you need a skin anyways, why not seek it out? If we're talking about case skins, we have to talk about cases. Cases, as of the last few years, have been the safest and most lucrative investment in this market. If you're looking to get started, this is where you should be looking. Cases are an item that can be received as a drop in game. If you wish to open one of these cases, you buy a key and you get a random skin out of it. Due to the culture that we have built around this game, everyone is a gambling addict, and that is exactly how we can take millions and millions of dropped cases and dwindle them down to a point where they become sparse. First off, when looking to buy cases, you need to consider where it's at in its life cycle. Is it still an active drop and could be for multiple years, meaning prices will typically be stagnant? Has it just moved to rare, therefore prices are still quite low, but it will take time to eventually eat through the dwindling quantity? Or is it at the point where prices are already quite high, but could go higher in a heartbeat? Or maybe it's an old case worth many times more than your typical case. After determining which stage a case is in, now it's time to consider how desirable it is. We can look at something like the glove case. It is very desirable, and that is represented in this graph. We can see something like the Vanguard case is not considered very desirable, and that is represented in this graph. Barring unique items that have been covered already like print streams, case hardens, and fire serpents, what would be considered first is rare items. The Shadow case, terrible knives. Despite having desirable skins, since Shadow Daggers are considered one of the worst knives and it's the only knife you can get from this case, it will continue to lag behind others. Revolver cases are a good example of this, which is why I chose them for my investment challenge. The revolver case is Valve's final installation of original knife finishes like karambits, bayonets, M9 bayonets, you got your case hardens, you have your fades. Despite having atrocious skins, it has been one of the best performing cases this year. Essentially, it boils down to good knives over good skins when evaluating a case and its potential. But at the end of the day, cases in general have been lucrative. You can gamble on an unpopular case in the hopes that one day people wake up and go crazy over it, but why would you? There's a reason they're unpopular, and picking the popular option has still been easy profit for years. It took some time for me to learn this when it came to cases. I made mistakes with Vanguard and Chroma too. Oh wow, quantity is so low compared to other cases in its price range. Surely I will buy this one, and when the quantity dwindles down, people will fly to unbox these. Each time I have made that choice, I was outperformed by higher supply yet more desirable cases. You don't need to be a genius to invest in cases, you can just stick to the basics. If you feel like dabbling into a few weapon case 3s or a few vanguards, go for it. There's always a chance that this market will move in a weird way, but don't go all in on a gamble. What's important when considering cases is parabolic growth, basically something that consistently increases in value. We will get to it, but with stickers being heavily invested upon every opportunity, cases are now the kings of this. Cases outside of clutch at this point in time are relatively cheap, meaning it only takes a few cents to double in value. Few more cents, triple. Get to that dollar mark. If you bought in early, your return on investment should be disgusting. When discussing which case can give the highest return on investment, focus is shifted towards cheap and new cases that still have massive potential to grow. For example, I have 4,200 fracture cases. Why do I have these fracture cases if they are still actively dropping and potentially could continue dropping until 2023? Well, because I believe this case has really good potential, and because I bought them for cash off of a guy, so I bought them fairly cheap. When the day comes where fracture gets moved to rare, I can build and build. 20 cents is double my purchase price. That can happen from FOMO within the first day of being removed like Prisma 2 just recently, or potentially within a few months I can hit that threshold naturally. Not to say that purchasing cases when they're cheap is necessary. Do you think the people that bought weapon cases at $3 are regretting their purchase? Not at all. When a case has been out of the active drop pool for a period of time, you can more accurately gauge demand. If you bought a glove case right now, would you lose money in a year? Based on previous cases throughout the years and the current performance of the case, it should be nearly impossible. In a few years, as quantity continues to dwindle and certain gloves hit new highs we haven't seen before, who knows what prices could end up at? My personal perspective is to purchase early at a safe price and build from there long term, but there's no denying older cases can offer similar performance if you use some fundamental analysis of what makes a case profitable, and you can buy at a low point in the market like when an operation gets dropped and people sell off certain liquid items like cases. This is why I recommend cases to anyone looking to get into this market, unless you royally screw everything up from which case you purchased and what price. Historically, you will almost never lose money. I'll put it like this. If I took the money I dumped into CS from 2018 to 2020 and put it into cases instead of stickers and operation items, I would not be working my day job. Here's the second most important set of skins in Counter-Strike. Operation skins are items introduced during a limited amount of time while an operation is running. Operation Bravo to Operation Hydra had operation-specific drops you could obtain. This gave you the possibility to get an operation-specific skin. From Shattered Web to Riptide, there has been a transition with the ability to purchase stars, and for Broken Fang and Riptide, you can purchase a specific collection. Operations have seen a massive transition ever since purchasable stars have been introduced. This transition has basically allowed one individual person to obtain items for hundreds of people. And this is why I don't expect Valve to change this system anytime soon, as it makes them a ton of money. And it's probably why they've been pushing them out every year since Shattered Web dropped late 2019. For operation cases, they used to drop in-game after an operation ended. This is why something like the Breakout case was in the active drop pool despite being introduced for an operation. Operation Hydra was the first time a case did not enter the active drop pool after an operation ended. When looking at how low prices went for Hydra compared to new cases that have much higher supply, this perfectly showcases how no one expected this to happen. Hydra coming before people commonly ran bots to farm missions on hundreds of accounts, or purchasable stars, means that the Hydra case is an anomaly. Despite Broken Fang seeing increased attention and Shattered Web getting quite old, they will never replicate what Hydra did. So why are we talking about the Hydra case again? The Oni Taiji. I'm going to group this into operation skins, because the Hydra case has become so expensive that supply feels like it's limited, similar to an actual operation collection drop. Oni Taiji itself, trade-ups to the Oni Taiji. These could be lucrative investment opportunities despite being part of a case. Time will tell, as supply is obviously not the same as an actual operation drop, but it is something to consider. Now on to actual operation collections. Operation Bravo, our first operation to include a specific collection, which would be the Alpha collection. Pretty weak collection, but as you would assume, being from 2013, some of these items are becoming quite rare. Next up, we find Operation Breakout, which defined how Operation Drops would function in the future outside of Operation Vanguard. Baggage, Cobble, Overpass, and Cash. Baggage is a unique collection, basically forgotten outside of one shining star in the AK-47 jet set. A factory new jet set goes for a substantial amount of money, but not from demand, just supply. I'm interested in what will happen to this collection in the next few years. Will these items become so rare that people start buying them up and trade-ups start ramping up? An interesting collection for sure, but a gamble to invest into. Moving on to Operation Bloodhound, Wildfire, and Hydra, we see our typical operation collections. Cobble, Cash, Overpass, Gods and Monsters, The Rising Sun, and Chop Shop. Overpass is a weird collection considering souvenir drops are still available and will be until Overpass sees a collection update or gets removed from the competitive pool. Some very desirable skins here, like the Scout Detour, Op Pink DD Pat, USPS Road Rash, and last but not least, M4A1 Masterpiece. Cash, not so much. Cash was removed from the competitive map pool in 2019 to be replaced by Vertigo. No more souvenir drops. All skins from this collection would be obtained from packages and drops pre-2019. But unfortunately, without sought-after skins outside of the Cerberus, barely, there hasn't been much price movement. Both of these collections struggle in their own ways. Investment potential? Yes. Good potential? Not from what we have seen so far. Cobblestone is the map collection you want to be focused on. You may not know what this is just by seeing the map if you're not overly familiar with the market, but when I show you this, it should all make sense. The king of Counter-Strike skins is the Op Dragonlore, and that is in this collection. Nothing can compete with Dragonlore level of infamy, and due to that, not much can compete with Dragonlore prices. As we will see with Broken Fang and Riptide, Valve has been remaking map collections and releasing them with operations, which gives them more security when considering a Cobblestone collection purchase. If Cobblestone was reintroduced into the competitive pool or into an operation, there would be a massive crash in prices. With recent actions from Valve, it would seem any type of Cobble reintroduction would result in a new set of collection skins. If Counter-Strike maintains its trajectory, we will see increased demand for Dragonlores. And with increases in demand and prices, YouTubers and high-tier traders will do trade-ups trying to obtain a Dragonlore themselves at increased prices. I'm excited to see how this collection develops over time, and if a point comes where you can't easily buy a Dragonlore off of the market even if you have the money, that's when things can get really crazy. Moving on to Gods and Monsters, we have another collection with a high-tier op. There's nothing as flashy as a Dragonlore here, but we do have the little brother Op Medusa alongside an M4A4 Poseidon and M4A1 Icarus Fell. The Icarus Fell is considered one of the best M4A1 skins. The M4A4 is a really solid play skin, and the same goes for the Medusa. Trade-ups for these old collections are quite rare though. A good trade-up has good odds, so you want to run as many trade-ups in a row to eliminate luck. With old operation collections, it may take a significant amount of time to buy the necessary skins at a good price and then sell the results. That being said, if I were to buy trade-up fuel for any collection listed in this era of operations, it would be Gods and Monsters. With both M4s somewhat viable these days, I could see the pink trade-ups picking up some steam. But a reminder for everyone watching, this is speculation. Rising Sun is also an operation collection with a high quantity of quality skins. Akihabara Accept, Hydroponic, Sunset Storm Deagles, M4A4 Daybreak, Midnight Storm. This is actually a collection where skins in almost every tier look nice. Definitely a collection to consider, but keep in mind prices on these more desirable items can get insane. One collection that has seen a large spike in interest is the Chop Shop collection. And that's almost entirely because of the M4A1 hot rod, as you can see outside of that little stumble when the nerf came out. Unless we see Valve making more balancing changes in the near future to the M4A1, this collection should maintain pretty high demand, and almost solely because of the hot rod. And that does it for old Operation collections. Some of this was opinion based, but prices generally support how I portrayed these collections. For our more modern collections, I won't go as in depth as they should be somewhat familiar, even if you don't actively interact with this market. Shattered Web included the Norse collection, Canals collection, and St. Mark collection. So far, lots of interest in all three collections and their high tier items. Gungnir is the leader, likely due to being the flashier op, but depending on who you ask, they may prefer the Prince. And the Wild Lotus has been used in a few Katowice 2014 crafts, and is a good play skin without stickers. Some solid collections here that should see good long-term demand. Moving on to Broken Fang, we have our first flop. The Control collection contains this nice blue phosphor. A nice looking play skin, and for a pink, you really can't complain. What we can complain about is this collection's red skin. The Op Fade, a highly controversial skin. Despite what you believe, this graph doesn't lie. Hype died and the prices went with it. Will these prices ever recover? Potentially, but will this market still be around by the time it does? I don't have that answer. The Havoc collection contains the AK-47 X-Ray, another somewhat controversial skin, which is not what you want for a flagship item. And last but not least, the Ancient collection, which you would have guessed is also contained in souvenir packages. Despite this, with the M4A1 Welcome to the Jungle as a solid skin, AK-47 Panthera Anka solid skin, and the MAC-10 Gold Brick as another pretty solid skin, this looks like one of the best collections. Here's the problem with Broken Fang though. Who wants these skins at these prices when new operations and cases come out every year? Sure, there's cool skins in here, can't deny that. But if we are expecting investment potential in this collection, that would also mean we expect people to pay thousands of dollars for some of these top tier skins. Maybe one day, but considering Broken Fang skins were the worst investment I made in my investment challenge, we aren't seeing that possibility materialize yet. And for Riptide, we haven't sat with these items too long. Here's the drop rate for Operation items. And here's the Train collection and how Valve decided to distribute stars. Basically an item that would on average be obtained after 12,000 stars, assuming a collection costs 4 stars, now only costs 100. This is something that hopefully won't continue going forward, as making res easily obtainable really skews prices, and not in a good way if you're looking to make money. Riptide also made another fairly weird transition as Valve decided they would use updated map collections for drops. As you would expect, these collections are also available in souvenir packages outside of Train. The Desert Hydra is pretty. I believe if you swap the Desert Hydra into the Kalba collection and the Dragonlore into the Mirage collection, people would give the same arguments as to why one skin is better. It really is a nice op, but due to quantity, it will take some time before they're considered rare in any capacity. Dust 2 is a nice runner-up with some nice skins. I would not put the Gold Arabesque on the same level as a Desert Hydra, but quantity also represents that, so keep both of those perspectives in mind. And last, but definitely least, the Vertigo collection. Honestly, this imminent danger is a little disappointing for what should have been a banger red skin. The quantity is very low in both souvenir and non-souvenir, but who would actually buy one of these? So far, there really aren't many people interested in this skin. We knew this Vertigo collection had a minuscule supply compared to other collections, well before Operation Riptide ended, yet, people still ignored it. And that should get you mostly caught up with Operation skins. There's some forgotten collections with low quantity, some massively hyped collections with high quantity, and some that sit in between. So here's a nice chart that should help you make your choice on which collection you want to put your money into. What I have here is every skin that would traditionally be considered the most desirable from each collection, with factory new quantity represented. In no way do you have to buy these high tier items to profit. Throughout the years, buying the lower tier Operation skins used in trade-ups, like factory new or minimal wear consumer skins, which would be your gray rarity, have had the highest returns. Much like cases, since prices for these items start so low and there's such a high quantity being consumed for trade-ups, there's good potential for profit. I had concerns about this trend failing as more and more items are being obtained each operation, as we can see from the previous chart, but considering our most recent collections have failed entirely, we can't say yet. There are many skins in Counter-Strike that have become quite difficult to accurately price, from your typical Katowice 2014 sticker skins to rare souvenirs to unique patterns. It's impossible to cover all of them, so here's the bullet points. For stickered items, anything mixed is tricky. Mixed refers to anything that doesn't contain all 4 or in some cases 5 of the same stickers. Because stickers lose value when applied to a skin, it's much easier to take something with identical stickers and say you want something like 1 sticker overpay or 10% overpay, etc. Overpay is determined by the skin it's applied on and if the stickers actually look good. If we specifically look at older skins that contain older stickers, those skins from that era receive less overpay. Why? Well, because most of these stickers would have been applied when they were first released, and they were dirt cheap. If these same stickers were applied on a newer skin, they can receive much higher overpay, sometimes nearly 100% full sticker price, because they were applied when the sticker was already worth a substantial amount. Looks also play a massive part in pricing. What's the point of buying something expensive if it looks terrible? Same could be said for skins that are mostly blank. Your laminates are worth almost nothing sticker percentage wise compared to other crafts, as there are way too many and the skin is boring. If this market is still around in a few years, I would expect AK slates to be in a similar position. Then there's the gun itself. AKs, M4s, and AWPs are your tier 1s. Deagles, USPs, Glocks, and maybe MP9s in this meta, I would consider tier 2. You want to craft on a gun that people use the most as they will pay the most. You want to make a craft on an R8 revolver? Hey, if that's your choice, I can't stop you. But do know, you will have a terrible time trying to sell, and you will not be getting anywhere close to your craft's price. And maybe you just want something like an old Katowice 2014 skin for cheap. You can consider getting a souvenir skin. Souvenirs have almost never been a good investment though. Souvenirs are about getting something unique. Good position DreamHack 2013s, specific Katowice 2014s like Reason foils, London conspiracies from DreamHack 2014, MLG All-Star Games souvenirs. There's a ton of niche souvenirs that people will collect and hunt for, but don't expect to make millions of dollars off of these. Patterns at times can also see similar treatment. Everyone should know about case-hardened patterns. Price-wise, knives and AKs can fetch crazy prices. 5.7s on the other hand, not as much. And unlike the MAC-10 that doesn't have a really nice pattern, 5.7s do, yet they are substantially cheaper than other case-hardens. Some patterns get hyped up and fall off like a blue leaf or star pattern, while others see growing attention like the sus cami. Considering a pattern template can be applied in 1,000 different ways, once people start hunting a certain pattern, it doesn't take long for the market to change. In general though, if there's a blue or purple case skin with a special pattern, don't expect overpay to last for too long. With this new Battle Pass style of operation, we have seen various items outside of skins and cases. So far, stickers have been the investment of choice, which is no surprise. Shattered Web had a pretty good host of stickers, but what you want to focus on is this little gold web foil. Manipulated multiple times, hyped up early on, and an unreasonable supply. One thing we learned very quick is that operation stickers cannot be treated like major stickers. For major stickers, if a team is popular, you can bank on fairly solid demand even if the sticker isn't overly attractive. With operation stickers, all that matters is the looks, and if another operation or sticker collection comes out that looks better, all of these operation stickers will be forgotten. That's what happened to the gold web foil. Pretty solid sticker, and honestly, I think it has been treated a little too harshly, but at the end of the day, it has partially been forgotten. Prices are stagnant, and they will be stagnant until supply can generate demand, but that may be years away. This mostly applies to every sticker from Shattered Web, as basically all of them have been forgotten. If you're looking for a success story, that's where Broken Fang comes in. Broken Fang had your traditional operation stickers and recoil stickers which poked fun at recoil patterns. With these operation themed stickers, we received the Battle Scarred paper and the Battle Scarred Hollow. Nice looking stickers that can mesh with a multitude of skins, so in theory it shouldn't be forgotten. So far, we are seeing some pretty positive graphs. There is potential. For recoil stickers, I approached them in a similar fashion. I assumed that considering their specific application to certain weapons in the game, that would give consistent long-term demand. 2 years is not exactly long-term, but a graph that ugly, that will scare people off. Not to say that there's zero potential, but it has really not worked out so far. For Operation Riptide, we had an insane sticker collection. 2 different collections, but with all of the variants, it created an insane collection of stickers. There are some items to look out for from the Riptide sticker collection, like the Liquid Fire Hollow as of recently, and a shout out to the Kill Count Hollow as it kind of fills the same niche as those Battle Scarred stickers. But focus was mainly put on the Surf Shop collection. With how many different variants of each sticker there are, supply for each individual sticker would be lower than if they did just one type of hollow. This should create an opportunity for more desirable stickers like the Miami Tier 6 Hollow or Opal Flick Hollow to pull away from others, but that has not been seen yet. But once again, Riptide is still fairly new. Now I can finally blow through some items that really aren't that relevant. Graffitis and badges both get forgotten outside of exceptions like Kiss Graffiti that have done quite well, or just graffiti manipulation which is easily done due to how irrelevant these graffitis are. I'll be honest, I don't know of a single patch that has done well, and I won't bother going through each individual patch anyways, as there's no way I would recommend them, even if there was one fringe profitable item. In my opinion, don't even bother. And those are some of the other operation items. We will see what comes out with our next operation likely this year, as Valve likes switching things up. So far, stickers should remain the main focus if you aren't interested in operation skins or cases. Here's where we get to have some fun. All of these major stickers. There's a lot of them by now. Some have destroyed dreams, some have built them out of thin air. Before major stickers were released, this whole CSGO investing thing didn't exist. That's how Katowice 2014 and these insane prices came to be. Katowice 2014 was the first time people saw true investment potential in this market, and that's how we get to millions of dollars in sales per major today. With 17 majors containing sticker capsules, soon to be 18 with Rio, it's not only difficult to find which major you want to buy into, but which specific sticker or capsule as well. As a prerequisite, I would like to throw this out there because it took me some time to catch on. Capsules are your safest option. In a situation where you are buying new major items, you can bank on capsules doubling or close to doubling before the next major or a pullback. With stickers, you can pick the right one and beat out capsule gains, but you can also pick the wrong one and get stuck with something undesirable. I'm going to talk about specific stickers throughout this section, but do consider the security of a capsule if you have faith in a tournament collection, but are unsure about which specific item. Starting off, we of course have Katowice 2014. If you're looking to buy Katowice 2014s, I'm not quite sure why you're watching this video, but here we go. Katowice 2014 has reached a point where the vast majority of people have no interest in purchasing a sticker worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Due to this, return on investment is likely going to be fairly low unless we start to see crafts pick up again. If we look at Cantry's site, he has some very useful information regarding sticker supply. This is not final, there's always going to be unregistered items from private or inactive accounts, but it gives you a decent idea. These stickers are insanely rare, of course, but it looks like it will still take years until extinction at our current application rate. Katowice 2014 items are a flex, a collector's item, an easy way to store thousands of dollars without buying storage units of another item. When Katowice 2014 supply becomes low enough that none exist on markets, that will be an interesting time, but we can only speculate for now. Next up is DreamHack 2014. Quite controversial. Some believe it's a big blocky sticker that only looks good because it takes up half the skin. Some don't care and enjoy the look of that. And honestly, they are some pretty good looking stickers. As of making this video, there has been some DreamHack 2014 attention. I was surprised to see that my Cloud9 Holo has reached 1200 RMB, but it was really only a matter of time. A low supply item that holds a relatively low price. If DreamHack 2014 can grab the attention of collectors and crafters, expect a price explosion. Unfortunately, competition is very fierce for that spot. Katowice 2015 is the frontrunner to replace Katowice 2014. Some stickers are nearly identical. In general, the downside is that holo effects are pretty weak in comparison, but this is what the community has chosen. I'm not in a position to argue. Katowice 2015 should be a stable purchase that sees a fairly linear rise in price, with potential spikes like a summer hype we never got this year. If we are looking at one specific collection, Katowice 2015 is my largest hold in CS. I don't think you can go wrong with Katowice 2015. If you want to be a little different but not gamble too much, what about Cologne 2014? Most of these stickers don't have much to talk about. London Conspiracy Holos are technically the lowest supply sticker. DAT Holos look pretty good and are also low in supply. Titan and iBuyPower stickers are included, and as you would assume, substantially cheaper than Katowice 2014. Where all of the eyes go at this point in time is the Dignitas Holo. Same holo effect as Katowice 2014, it just has an ugly border around the outside. I commonly use this sticker when referencing summer hypes because of substantial spikes that have appeared each time. There's a ton of interest in this item. We just need supply to continue dwindling, but long term, it looks good. An ugly duckling that doesn't need much attention would be Cologne 2015. No holos, ugly border, yes prices are low, yes supply is fairly low, yes there is a reason for this. It is no diamond in the rough. And the same could be said about Kluge. I would just steer clear of these. MLG Columbus brings us back to the glory days of holos and foils. Not the glory days of clean borders or no borders, but having holos will always boost community interest. If you are wondering how this exists, no, it's not pure manipulation. After the recoil case came out with the AK-47 ice coated, many MLG stickers have gone up, but Luminosity is the clear winner for best craft. This likely won't last, but you can see at the very least, people haven't forgotten about these stickers. So far, Cologne 2016 doesn't see much attention due to their smaller size. But look at this and tell me these stickers don't look good. There is something here, but whether that materializes or not still has to be seen. It's a collection I would consider, but not something I would go all in on. Atlanta 2017 is my secret, but not so secret hold. I have been collecting a few stickers, but for the most part Fnatic holos. I see Atlanta 2017 as the little brother to DreamHack 2014, but with substantial room to grow. Krakow 2017 is pretty weak outside of player autographs, but we will get to that. Boston 2018 could be a sleeper pick. I like how many of these items look. They're just in a weird position where people investing in older stickers think Boston 2018 is too new, and people investing in newer stickers think Boston 2018 is too old. It's not ready yet, but keep an eye on Tai Lu and 100 Thieves stickers. Tai Lu and 100 Thieves were only in capsules for a short period of time due to their own reasons. This resulted in revamped capsules without their stickers, meaning supply is very low. If we start to see interest in Boston 2018, I think we would see the signs with these two. London 2018 on the other hand is pretty weak. It's hard to be objective about these because I personally think they're trash. But I guess if I wanted to be nice, there's some potential in something like North Holos or Cloud9 Holos. That border just isn't something I can ignore. Katowice 2019 has nice holos, and being 3 years old, we finally get to see if people desire these items. Furia holos have been stuck forever. Hopefully they can pull through one day. But if it were me, I would just choose a popular team that has a respectable holo. Do not touch Berlin 2019. Do not do it, please. Antwerp and Stockholm stickers are a massive question mark and can change CSGO sticker investing forever. I have a video covering how dangerous Antwerp stickers are, which you can find here. But essentially, if every sticker going forward is borderless, with a slightly different tournament design on the bottom, we lose any significant differentiating qualities. People pay more for certain stickers with certain designs due to preference. If holos change and text changes, is that really enough for people to spend, in theory, 10 times the price of an Antwerp Major sticker just to get the Stockholm 2021 holo? Well, with how hard Stockholm 2021 gold stickers crashed, I know those have no chance. For holos and glitters, we will have to see. If borders return, both of these collections should make a ton of people a ton of money. If Valve continues to go borderless, I fear that investing in new majors will no longer be possible. Autographs were first introduced for Cologne 2015. Paper stickers had team-specific capsules and foils were group-based. These stickers have mostly been forgotten, but prominent players like Kenny Yes, Scream, and others could become rare. So far, we haven't seen any significant gains for an extended period of time. Where we do see significant gains is Krakow 2017 golds, and recently, even some foil interest. Low supply, flashiest gold, solid size. Krakow 2017 is basically Katowice 2014, but for autographs. If you don't believe me, look at these prices, and look at this quantity. Sure, having all of these individual players means some of them would almost never get crafted, and looking at the sale frequencies of these items, it's far from liquid. Regardless, each individual item is so low in supply that if someone wanted to craft a skin or two, it would significantly affect the supply. There are some people very high on Krakow golds, some people like me that threw in one gamble and are waiting to see what happens. There's a little bit of a mix because it's the first of its kind. Other tournaments following Krakow have also contained golds, but due to various factors like supply, shade of gold, and design, they will never follow the same trajectory of Krakow, just like how no team sticker could ever replicate Katowice 2014. There will never be another, and that's what makes Krakow unique. When looking to invest in player autographs, especially newer stickers, there's two things to consider. Does the player have a massive following or is considered an amazing player? And two, what does the sticker look like? Simple, Zywoo, Nico, Device, Brokey, Rops, etc. People apply stickers of players they think are amazing, and looking at stickers from previous tournaments, it has been foolproof so far. There's also sticker design. For Antwerp 2022, there has been some crazy things going on with the Rocks Holo. For those that don't know, this sticker says China. As blatant as it could possibly be, yet it worked. Look at these prices, it's unbelievable. Another example from Antwerp is Vinny. Vinny is a cool guy, and has lots of Brazilian fans. But his sticker would not be worth nearly as much if it didn't have this cute artwork. Artwork or references can play a big part in prices. It's still a sticker after all. You want something unique and good looking. There's two ways to approach buying specific player autographs, and both are viable in my eyes. I will say that choosing a top player like Simple is very easy to do. Choosing a design that people won't forget about the next major can be difficult. With every market, there's always concerning trends or changes that can negatively affect prices. At this point in time, I have no reason to be concerned. But that can change very fast. One concern that will exist until the end of time is Valve making changes that would hinder or remove the possibility of selling skins for real money. We have already seen regulations around loot boxes. This is why people living in Belgium or the Netherlands do not have the ability to purchase capsules from the in-game store and cannot open cases. Will this spread to other countries? Will stronger regulations be set around eliminating trading, as that's how people can sell for real money? We will have to see. So far, I don't see any signs that this will be taken further, but that can change overnight. For specific item returns, there are some for cases in the active drop pool. Counter-Strike is basically running out of cases, partially from an increased rate of unboxing, but also from investors buying up thousands and throwing them into a storage account. I don't believe Valve has a reason to force cases back down to 4 cents. But if they do decide to combat this new issue, we can only speculate how they would do so. Concerns for the future of sticker investing revolves around Valve's decision around borderless stickers. They greenlight the stickers that a tournament organizer produces, and if Valve doesn't stop this whole borderless sticker thing, there's no point in purchasing newer major stickers. We can hope that the next major contains some kind of border, as it would allow Stockholm and Antwerp to prosper. In terms of market performance, I have no concerns as of today. And without any of the previous changes mentioned being implemented, I don't see it becoming a problem in the future. I think this is a very great space to get into with the current economic situation we're in. If you need a little bit more help buying something or making a decision, hit me up on Twitter. That's the easiest way to reach me because I actually get notifications for it, and I can help you out. And if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching.